You've never done that before. That's so professional.
What's up, profitable stylists? Do we have a treat in store for you all today? Last week Bernard and I was talking about long hair replacement and hair extension methods. It's a special guest, Shanna Moll from Studio U. Thank you, Shanna, for joining us. You had joined us on the chat momentarily last week, which was an awesome treat to have. And now we got you live in the studio. What's going on?
What's going on is in New Orleans, getting to hang out with you guys, which is really amazing for me. And just want to teach everybody how to do long hair bonding and add it to their business so they can be not only emotionally fulfilled, but financially as well.
So long hair bonding. I'm just translating for Eddie's. What did
Yeah, exactly.
I get too excited.
Long something. We're going to end up telling a little story here, but when last week we were just doing long hair bonding, and as a typical hairdresser, I didn't put together in the calendar that she was going to be here the next week, and we could have just did the long hair bonding this week instead. So as we're talking about it, my business partner, RJ, I think sent an email.
He texted me.
Oh, okay.
And I happened not to be behind the chair.
So then she jumped on YouTube and saw the live and then got involved through the chat, which is delayed, which made us look a little delayed. I mean, Eddie's already delayed, but this actually just looked more delayed. And so now we have her live. So it's going to be kind of fun.
Yeah.
I want to mention kind of how we met.
Yeah.
So I've been doing hair replacement, hair extensions, hair in general for about 30 years. Now, I've been out behind the chair, got super successful on the selling products, teaching extensions, and stepped out from behind the chair so I could do more of that because I actually do like helping stylists be more profitable. And so I love the name Profitable Stylist. And from that, I hadn't really been to a hair show in a few years, along with COVID kind of slowed us all down from everything. So I go to the American Hair Loss Council, and for so many years I go, we buy a booth, we perform, we teach, we share. And this year, I didn't even bring a hairdresser. I didn't even go with my wife. It was just, I'm just going by myself to learn. I actually felt a little out of place. I was alone. I was like, I can go anywhere I want. So I was popping in different classes, and her class was not even on the schedule. Don't know if that was on purpose or not.
They got a lot of trouble for that.
But I'd heard, when there's a...
Were you going to say rumors? You're not supposed to talk about that stuff in here.
That's what salons are all about.
Right.
So when there's a hairdresser, a salon, rumors involved, and secrets, and something good, the word spread like wildfire. Yeah. There's going to be this lady, this girl, doing this long hair bonding thing. And do you know, of 30 years of doing hair replacement, I had always heard of long hair bonding, but then I heard a little more negative than I did positive about it. It was hard, it was time consuming, it's an old technique. But I was always intrigued because I didn't know how it worked, and I thought, I've got to go into this class. So I go into where she is, and there's only 4 or 5 people at first. And then this class just builds because the other classes weren't as good. People are leaving the other classes, coming to her class. Before you know it, they're standing room only. They're bringing chairs in, and it's just growing, and it's not even on the schedule. It's fine. And so I was like, oh, good thing I knew about it early. I got a front row seat, and she is taking this technique that's been around a very long time. It's not a brand new thing, but she's taken from what I can understand, and I'll let her explain it, she's taken the best parts of what different people were doing with long hair bonding over the years, put it all together. And as far as I can see, she systematized it, if that's a word. She put this system together that they follow for every single client, and it went so smoothly. And I was just blown away at the little tips and tricks. I got it on video, loved it so much. Well, I'll go into that in a minute. I loved it so much. I brought it back to my staff, and they're like, how's it work? What do you do? I said, we've already done it a little bit, but we're going to try and do some of these tips and tricks. I got to order the stuff off of Amazon, she said. I got the little combs. I got but anyway, you want to talk a little bit about that experience?
Yeah, so it really was incredible to see the room just blow up. Yeah. One of the things that you'll learn about me is put me in front of the camera, put me in front of people, and allow me to speak, and I do it. The reason why I really think that Studio U, long hair bonding, all of that works really well for hairdressers, salon owners to bring it in, wig boutiques to set themselves apart, is that I have made it so a hairdresser or anybody with ADHD, you're right, can follow. And I'm not kidding. I've gone to so much education. I've been a hairdresser for 36 years, where it wasn't in the manual when I got home. There was nobody to call, no mentor, no anything. And then we kind of just, like you said, systemized everything to make it really simple. And it blew up during COVID. Like the year before COVID, we had started it, and then we pivoted. It used to be a shadow program, and then we just pivoted online.
It just occurred to me that some of you guys watching might not even understand what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So we got a bald head, it looks like, back here. We're talking about putting hair mostly on thinner haired ladies who need a little more hair, men too, but it's a technique that has been around a very long time. But I think the most intriguing part of the whole technique is it's a no shave technique. We're not, most hair replacement techniques we're taking and we're shaving the top of the head before the hair goes on. The hair replacement world tried to keep that secret for years for men and women, but I think Instagram and the new young hairdresser learning a little bit about hair replacement revealed it, put it out there. The customers know now. And a lot of them are okay with it, but there's still women are not going to be as okay as men are about getting their head shaved. And so that was a real powerful
and one of the things you mean educational.
You don't like the word sell.
Because glue. I educate. It is not glue. It is adhesive. If I hear anybody, even when I'm doing a consultation and the client says glue, I look at the client and I go, "Are you gluing a $3,000 to $7,000 system to your head?" I'm adhering it with medical grade adhesive.
Bernard, did we not learn our lesson from the Gorilla Glue video that we had to do?
Oh my God! Can you believe that?
That is glue.
Yes, that is glue. So what I found when I'm educating in a consultation is I'm 70% women and 30% men, and the women will say, you know, I'm thinning up here. I'll look at their hair. They're definitely long hair bonded clients. And if they say, "Do I have to shave?" And I'm like, absolutely not. Because here's the thing. You're going to tell them, even though they have gorgeous hair going on, you're going to tell them that they're not going to be able to use that hair that they've been hiding with. It's another psychological jump that they have to get over. And I've had many women say, "Oh, well, if I had to shave, I wouldn't do it." And so it's a technique that really works, because what you're doing is you're marrying the scalp, the hair, and the system all together, and it locks.
And we've been doing a successful hair replacement business for many years where we shave men and women's hair. But there's no doubt we lose a percentage of consultations for both men and women when they find out the hair has to. And I don't like the word glue either, but I've been in so many salons over the last couple of years teaching, and they use the word glue so often, and they call and text and say, "Is this the kind you glue on?" And for a customer, I say, "Sure," because I want the business. But then I try to change the word. So it's funny because in my classes don't allow the word glue either, but I'm kind of getting sucked back into that market. One of the words I don't like to use is shave. I like to say prepare the area, take the hair down.
That's good. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, because shave is a harsh word. Now, when I'm talking about not shaving, I like to use the word shave because it's strong. Like, "Oh, no, we're not going to shave your head." But if I am going to shave your head, I'm going to say, "Well, we are going to prepare the area." I do soften the
It's important because you're dealing with such deep psychological issues. And that's the thing that I tell my students. If you are going to do this for money, and that's your initial reason to do it, you will not be successful. You have to be an empath. You have to understand what you are holding in front of you is very fragile. And I really think that's what created the success, in our studio. If people go and they look at Google refined hair, we have 85 5-star reviews. Because because I'm educating, I'm meeting the client where their journey is. In our studio, we work from everything from my scalp is itchy and dry and excess oily to bald. And we have every product or service along the way, which is kind of the new, it's the new model, I believe, in hair replacement. And one of the things that I'm creating is because we need master stylists. That's what hair replacement world has been missing. Bringing the master stylist, the master colors. You can put hair on anybody's head, but you got to make it look good.
And that's a good point. A lot of master stylists out there are already doing highlights, color, high-end services, kind of almost capped out, ceilinged out. Sure, they can raise their prices to make a little bit more. But what she's talking about doing is, and I want to summarize what we're doing here really quick. She's talking about bringing it to the next level, a whole different service. That's kind of what this channel is all about, helping stylists be more profitable. Raising prices is the first step. If you're a busy stylist, there's no doubt that's going to help you. But jumping into hair extensions, hair replacement, long hair bonding, those are such specialty places that you don't learn in the traditional school. You've got to get.
Oh God, no! You don't even learn about hair loss.
Eddie wants to talk.
Yeah. Sorry, Eddie.
No, because you just brought up something that's actually really powerful, and I think as educators, we all talk about it, but we always glaze over it. I observe a lot of the times, because we're talking about transitioning from being a stylist to a master stylist, from being good to great, from being comfortable to being excellent at it. In your opinion, how much of the consultation is actual psychological boosting their self-esteem versus actually talking about the actual product itself? Because I have my opinion, but I want to get your input on that first.
So what I would say is, first of all, it depends on who's sitting in front of you, really, because you got to meet them psychologically. But I would say it's pretty good 50-50.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because I sit down with them and I say, tell me about your journey. When did this start? And that can be a 15-minute conversation in itself. And I do consultations when I'm on the road doing virtual consultations, which I do probably 40% of. It's a quicker consultation because it's virtual, but then they end up coming back in and it's another 30 minutes. And so it's really getting to know their journey, and it's the responsibility of the stylist not to sell them something, but to meet them on their journey and give them what they need.
And see, that is so important, because a lot of stylists that first get trained in these kind of services, they're like, oh, this is so exciting. This is so great. The features and benefits of this is amazing. This is what it is. And the client's looking at them and saying, okay, how am I going to look? Am I going to be able, am I going to be able to take care of this? Am I going to be able, am I? Because they don't understand. They understand what the product is, but they don't understand how they're going to live with this on their head. So right. I'm glad that you bring up that point, that literally half the consultation is more psychological than it is just selling or not selling, but I guess recommending a product.
Educating.
Educating. Thank you.
She does a great job of a follow-up too. There's a take-home pack, and at the end of the service, she talks to them about how they take care of their hair at home. She's got a little bag with all the stuff. But let me do something real quick. I wrote a little note down right here. I think it's important for people that are watching, because I like summarizations myself. Let me summarize everything we're doing today. Then we might go into a little bit more detail about things. A rough summary. I met Shanna in California, and then I liked what she was doing so much. Tried to take the service back to my salon. Thought, okay, I don't know enough.
Wait. First, I gave you a metal business card. Let's not leave that out.
Let me grab it. It's right here on my desk still.
So I want to say something about this, because I'm also a coach. You have to have goals. When I opened my studio, my first card had to weigh a certain. When I hit an X goal, it couldn't bend. When I broke 1 million, I got these babies.
This is a metal business card. I mean,
okay.
Look at this thing. Which camera should I be showing this to? I mean, this thing, it's got real holes in it. I think
it's laser etched.
It'll take some of your nails off. It's the only business card I've ever saved because I'm so impressed with it. So when she handed this to me in California, I mean, she even came to me a little
It's
later.
only for special people, mind you.
Yeah, and I'm still only second class special because a little later she found somebody more important than me, and she had run out. And she goes, "Hey, do you have that card? I need to give it to somebody else." And I lied. I said I left it in the room. In my pocket. I wasn't giving it up. Somebody else pulled
I
theirs
took it
out.
from Jay. I think.
Yeah, he's less important.
Then
So
you, yeah, sorry, Jay.
So it was just this is quite an impression. That business card.
And I think also,
You hear it? I love this thing.
oh, but one of the problems is when we're together, we squirrel as much each other. So
Let me get back to that summary.
Yeah, this is a great summary, Bernard. This is a fantastic.
Just a real quick hour-long
ahead.
summary.
Yeah.
I meet her. I try to take the service back and realize, like, wow, in-person training matters. So we have a few phone calls. I go with my wife and a stylist to her studio in Austin, Texas, and we spend a day there. We hone some of the skills. We come back, get a little bit better at it. Then from there, I realize, like, wow, she's traveling to teach people this service. She needs to do like we do and have this set here, have her teach it. We'll put it on video because you can't get everywhere all the time. So this way she can be at multiple places at the same time. So through Teachable, she teaches this, educates people through this Teachable platform. And we can get more into detail about that later too. And so a part of what today's going to happen is she's got some of the class materials behind us on the table. She'll go through that in a minute. But I just wanted people to know where we're going to go with this. If they're more interested in learning this later, you can get it on Teachable with her. And if you're watching now and you want to put questions in the comments about the class or her success or how to do anything, we can answer these in the future as well as today. Just wanted to get that disclaimer.
Also, to piggyback on that, there is a coupon in the live chat.
Yes.
Yes.
So somebody can use that link in the live chat, and that's a $200 coupon for towards the bonding course.
Yes.
And I don't want to. I don't like the old-fashioned way of sales of people thinking like, "What is the course cost?" No, it's a $1,500 class.
Mm-hmm.
You get a lot of education and the kit and after the class support.
The system alone that we send you is like $800,
There you go.
and you can use it on a client.
And what would it sell to a client for?
So, I think it's important that we talk about the money and the profit that you can make and things like that.
And we are pretty open on the channel, but just to let you know, some customers and stylists see this. So sometimes we're careful about what monies and dollars we share.
So here's a great thing. If you really want to know the breakdown and what you can add behind the chair, reach out. And I'm happy to share the formula, the profit you can make. One of the things I believe in hair replacement that has been missing is the salon experience. And so what we've done is we've taken hair replacement, high-end salon, and married them.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like talk about what you saw in the studio and what we do that you found different.
Yeah, so what I liked, it was kind of reminded me of going into just, how some salons remodel an old home. It had a real homey feeling. I mean, from the outside, I was like, oh, it's a commercial building. But then when I walked inside, I was like, oh, I'm home. I'm in somebody's home. And so it was like a home, whereas my private studio is more clinical, more doctor-like. You walk through, it's got a hallway and it's got rooms. Her hallway and rooms felt more like I was walking into bedrooms or the living room or the dining room. But of course, they were private areas. But it had more of a salon feel, more of an old house feel, very homey and comfortable. And so the whole system was really, really well done. And we spent the whole day there, so we got to see a lot. We got to see some of the biggest problems that happened for the day and some of the greatest successes. And I even got, I should have showed you guys some of the pictures. I got this thing on my head that was squeezing my head and like to help blood flow,
It's called the Trichopress, and it's part of our trichology program.
And it felt wonderful.
Yeah.
I didn't care what it was called. I was just like, I was just making sounds like, oh, this feels great. Yeah.
One of the things, Eddie, that you were talking about is they ask, can I swim? Can I this? Can I that? How do you take care of it? Bernard tried last week. But what I tell the client over and over is it's as if God came down, put his hand on your head and said, I'm so sorry, here's the hair you were supposed to have. And I end up saying that probably.
I can't do it with as much conviction. She believes it.
I believe it wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
And that is awesome.
What'd you say?
That is awesome. That is awesome.
Because I believe in my core that is why we're put here, is to help that person. And within one consultation, I bet you I say it 3 times to answer questions.
Mm.
Yeah, and I got to watch a consultation. Right. It was at least twice that I saw. Yeah.
So then, fun. All right. So now, what is so this program? You have a kit. You have. I see. There's a mannequin back there. What kind of fun and games we got for everybody today?
Yeah. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna have you put this all out.
Oh.
And I'm going to step in back and tell you a couple of things about this, and then when I'm done with that, I'll come back to the table and show it to you and explain it to you.
I'll bring a camera over there so we can see.
All right, yeah, then we can switch around. Let me see if I can do this. Okay, here we go.
So one of the things that I think so great about Stylist doing this is you really need to know where the hair lives and what's the final product look that you want. And there's a lot of involved in that with face shape and all of that most hair replacement wasn't taught. That's not the feel or from the old school way. So what I do when I teach, and you'll learn it on the long hair bonding course, is this is a bi-cast, okay? This bi-cast is what we use on each person for their design. Yeah, and it's made out of fiberglass. So what happens with this is I go in, I'm like, okay, we have androgenetic alopecia, which means thinning hair for women on the top, okay? So I've cut it so you have the appropriate amount of hair to mimic doing long hair bonding, so you can learn. And any of you out there that have worked with a mannequin, if you can do it on a mannequin, you can do it on a human. So for this woman, the way we find what I call the border is where this system is going to sit every time, because it's been created in such a way that it's this person's hair. It's what they need. It is only amplification of what they're missing. So the way we do that is I use the tip of the nose here. You want to make sure that you start with the 0, because some measuring tapes start with 0 down here. So for your precision, you must start here. So I take the tip of the nose and I run it up, and there's a natural crease in the bridge of your nose, and that's where it's going to sit, okay? Then you're going to lay this over the head. Let me do this. You're going to lay this. Okay, come on. Okay, you're going to lay this naturally over the head. So this system was designed for this woman at 9.5 centimeters. So what I'm going to do at that point is here's my 9.5 centimeter. Okay. And you're going to mark that. And you need to make sure it's on the scalp as well as the hair. So when you go back to put your bi-cast on, you can find your marking, and then you're going to find your center. And here's my center, right here. So why a bi-cast? I don't know if any of you have tried long hair bonding or working with any sort of adhesive, but if you don't have the adhesive in the right place, your client's going to leave with adhesive in their hair outside their system. They're not going to be happy with you. So this woman here has a nice fringe in the front, enough hair in the front. I want to use all of her biological hair, right? I'm just amplifying what she's missing. So this is where it lives at 9.5 centimeters. I'm going to use this hair and integrate. all of this and cut it in. So it ends up really just being a second scalp with this person's hair. So how do you do that? What you do is you have your center, you mark all the way around. You got to make sure that you split the hair and draw your markings. Split the hair.
So she's so good at this. Let me mention this real quick. She's so good at this that she like just glazes over some things that are just not common in the hair world. Like, just what is that pencil? That was some of the things I was seeing in California. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm using eyeliner, lip liner. That stuff doesn't work that good. The tip's falling off. She's just marking and that tip's staying on. Come to find out, there's a pencil called a barber pencil. Well, I'm not. I was a cosmetologist, not a barber, so I had never heard of this pencil. And then Bicast. She kept saying Bicast, and I didn't know what that was. But I guess it's a brand name for...
It's just not a mold, and I call a mold a Bicast. Okay, so here's the thing.
So it's fiberglass. Right. Like, instead of plaster Paris cast you get on a broken arm, they move to fiberglass. It's kind of similar to that.
It is. It is totally that. Yeah. And the reason why we do this on everybody, even on our stock pieces is what mostly we use these for. Our custom as well, too, but we do a lot of customized stock. So it's more professional.
It is. It definitely
Instead of pulling out, I'm sorry, tape, mold, this is elevating hair replacement. This is bringing it into the salon. When you take your client and you've got your tray and you're coming out and you're doing your service, it better be a super high-end experience because that's what you're going to charge. So this is better.
And that's something I'd heard about for years also, but never actually did. I heard a lot of people use tape, like saran wrap and just regular tape, which we use mostly. Plaster of Paris was a little more firm mold, sloppy, white powder everywhere, and it's not easy to cut out. This is so thin but strong, and you can reuse it. And I thought, you know what? I had never used that before. So this is one of the things, it's been around a very long time, but I had never seen it used. So when I watched her do it, I was like, okay, that's not that difficult. She really makes this whole service look so much easier. And that was just one of the things I was impressed with.
Well, and I think that's important for stylists. I mean, look, you guys.
Are we done with that head?
Yeah, we're done with that head because I'll just tell you quickly that like the next step is I would spray it down to harden it. You'll have to find out with what. Do you? It should be in the kit.
Okay.
So you have more control of the hair, and it's like a second scalp. You're protecting the scalp before you roll on your system. So let me show you what comes in your kit, okay? So here's the fiberglass.
So this is the camera.
Here.
Yeah.
So here's...
You see.
And the way you do this is the same like you do with tape. You do the saran wrap, but then you layer this over your markings with a ballpoint pen and it transfers and then you cut it out. So that's how you make a Bicast. So the other things in here is a bottle for Dawn. Look, some places will say, oh, I have the special blue shampoo that I use to get the oil out. And then I'm like, okay, what are you going to tell your client when they're like, that smells like Dawn, right? You didn't come from integrity and transparency, even about the shampoo you're using.
You know, for the amount of times that we have mentioned Dawn on this channel, we got to get some kind of sponsorship going from these guys.
I know, right? That's not a bad idea. So,
I think Dr. Gamble needs our help.
Yeah, right. I don't think so. I don't know. I got a lot to say. They may be able to learn something.
I don't know if we'll ever talk about this, and I don't know if we should here, but this is one of the biggest secrets of the industry. And I mean, I don't know if we should say it now or if you should have to pay for the
You have to pay for the class.
You have mentioned it a couple of times in past videos, so if somebody goes back and rewatches.
30 years I had never seen or heard of that product, and quite a few people there were using it and talking about it, and I thought,
this is the...
Yeah, I thought, it's a little bottle. It is just on Amazon. It's not that cheap.
No. There's nothing, and there shouldn't be.
Right.
There is nothing
that it should be. I was just surprised that little bottle was so expensive, and it doesn't go very far, but it works so well.
Exactly. And that's what elevates your service or things like that. And a service without color is about a 2-hour service, but the head's being massaged. You're massaging to break down. So the client gets this experience that they've never had because they don't want to go to a salon because you can only tease and spray so much. The other thing that we have in our studio, right? I mean, look, you can only do this and spray so much.
Teaser than you are.
Right, exactly. Oh, and by the way, we've got to like highlight that hair to high heaven so you have texture. So anyway, okay, I forgot what I was talking about.
I think this was in the kit.
Well, so with that kit and the amount of stuff that coming in that kit, so realistically, what's the expectation? How much prep time is involved with the client there? Is all the prep done while the client is there? Or do you do some of it, the client leaves and you do some more and then they come back for the install?
Yeah, no. So what happens is...
Yeah, go through a service.
I will. So what happens is the client comes in. Now, you have to have 2 systems to rotate. I don't care. I've worked with people who only do one. They last this long. You cannot clean, in my opinion, a system well enough to put back on somebody's head
in a timely manner so a person can.
Well, not only that, but sanitary. Like when we clean a system, we use 2 different systems. One takes us about 20 minutes and the other one about 40 minutes.
Oh.
Yeah. So what happens is they have a box. They have their other system in there. 2 days before they come in, it gets pulled out. The system gets prepped. We know where they part it. We know they like beach wave. Anything they want. And so what happens is before the service, we have these trays. And this is the liner for the tray. Why this? Because it is medically based. You are working with somebody and giving them more hair, and you're charging a lot for what you do. It better be clean. It better be sterile. And it better be very professional looking. So this is the first layer on the tray. Then the next thing that happens is we lay everything out on the tray very professionally. We put our combs on. We put our cotton squares. We put our lice comb.
Another secret.
Knit comb.
Yeah, that thing. That was...
big time.
That changed the game right
big
there.
Big time. And here's the thing. I have taken everything I've learned from different companies, every expensive mistake that I've made, and there've been a few, and created Studio U. Just made it really, really simple, brought everything together. Let me teach you and help you not to make the expensive mistakes I've made. Seriously.
Yeah.
So everything comes out. This would be a cleaning tray. Okay.
No idea what this is.
I'm gonna tell you.
This is just
That's
for
a
fun.
slinky, right? You play with that when you have your squirrel moment.
Up and down and all around the slinky, and it was down like I just showed my age. Slinky. Okay. We don't sing.
Wonderful toy.
Yeah, we're old. Got it. Oh, the worst.
It's when it was the only toy.
That's true. And the worst is in my studio, my team are all really young, and I'll make reference to something, and they're like, what?
Yeah, way over.
Yeah, way over the head. Okay, so on a prep tray, you're going to have these are little brushes. I like these. You have a lot more control, and they don't soak up the adhesive like some others because there's nothing inexpensive about this. There's just not. So you have your brushes. You have your little Q-tips to erase the white markings that you're going to do with your client. You have your pencil. You have your die-cast. And then
which comes like this. Yeah. And when you put it on the head over saran wrap, I guess.
Yeah, we have a little video that we send out to learn how to do this. And it's a freebie. It comes with your class. You'll get an email beforehand to teach you how to do this because this is the very first thing you need to do before you can move on. So removal tray, like I said, you have your Dawn, you have your alcohol, you have your disposable combs. You guys invest in these. There's no reason to be cleaning combs.
Yeah,
like, right?
Just throw them away after.
Look at your time. Look at your money, right? Time equals money. This is a cap.
Is it? Oh, wow.
And what we do in our studio is when we've removed everything, we've massaged, then we do a mask on the scalp. Okay. Depending on if you're high sebum, high oil. That is a good look, man. I like that.
I'll be serving lunch today.
There you
get some mac and cheese.
We are in front of the high school, right? The high school's back there. So he's going to go, he needs a second job.
You're right.
So, right?
This will probably be the thumbnail for the video.
So we put the mask on based upon their body chemistry and what they need. Then we put the Dawn, the special blue shampoo, all over the head. Now, if you're doing what we call grafting color, which means color only around the face because you have the system now, you no longer have to get highlights now. You no longer, right? It's all in the system. So, excuse me. So when what was I saying again? Told you, if you guys go back and look at any of my lives from like during COVID, I literally will say to you, hey guys, I just squirreled. What am I talking about?
I love it. We've already talked about the Dawn.
Right.
So you got the Dawn going. You got the net on there.
No,
Yeah.
Thank you, talking.
So I didn't. Okay. So this is adhesive, not glue. Let everybody say it together. Adhesive.
This is adhesive, not glue.
So, you're not gluing a $5,000 system to somebody's head.
When you really get into this, you can buy these in larger bottles.
Yeah. This is just for
But she's giving some in the kit so you can do at least a client or 2 or 3 to get started.
Out of this bottle, you will be able to do what, because they don't know the right amount yet. So you'll be able to do one application of learning with this bottle. And then it's not very expensive. You can order larger bottles, like he said. This is Ultra Hold by Walker Tape.
Yes.
So.
And when do you use this?
Thank you for taking me down the right road, please. Thank you. You can see I'm a total hairdresser, right? It's amazing that I'm an educator.
And this is for taking your makeup off.
Exactly.
Right,
and when you want exfoliation, you use the green side. So this is SensiTac Select. What I do with this is, we don't have a system here. We don't have a system because it gets drop shipped to you. Right. So on your system will be a PU border, which is polyurethane. It's about 1 inch to 2 inches wide, depending on what system you're using. And then I layer this over the polyurethane first. Then I do my adhesive. Mm-hmm. Reason being, when it's time to take that off, all I do is I take that tape off, and now there's very little cleaning to do to your system. Longevity, and yet not as much time, which equals money.
That's cool. Now, that's cleaning the system.
Yeah.
Cleaning the head is a little more time consuming than most of the other techniques out there. And I just wanted to be open about that. That was the big balance for me. Watching it happen in the class, I thought, okay, this takes longer than most hair replacement services, but there's no taking the hair off the top of the head. That's a huge trade-off. I mean, I think a lot of people wouldn't mind staying a little longer to keep all of the hair was one. But then it was taking us, I couldn't figure out how to put adhesive on a person's head with hair. Right. And so there's some little tricks that she does that she doesn't give herself enough credit for as she's doing it. There's this, the angle of the way she brushes the adhesive, because, I mean, just certain ways of brushing will just turn that hair into a tangled mess up top. So that secret product, mystery product, is one of the things that helps keep everything organized. The way she brushes it. And then my favorite of all, it should be a dance name, the finger roll. That is in the video. I don't know why that sticks in my head. She goes, and now we're going to do the finger roll. And I thought, maybe she's getting ready to dance, because she's already changed her clothes 2 or 3 times, and her glasses and her boots, all in like a 1.5, 2 hour class. She likes to change her outfit and everything. And I thought, oh,
you lose them in 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
When we did the video shooting here in this room, it was different. I wear the same clothes all day. And she brought boxes of clothes that she didn't wear, and a couple more boxes that she did change into.
It is really impressive to see this procedure. So this is all the prep, and this is how serious this is. Like
Yeah.
this, it is incredible how prepared someone has to be because it really is serious. How long is one of these systems worn for before they come back for a reservice?
4 to 6 weeks, depending on the body chemistry. Yeah, depending on the body chemistry of the person, the adhesive's going to break down. And you want that to happen, right? So at about, depending on the body chemistry, depending on the system, usually about 2 to 3 weeks, you might be able to get a finger under. 3 weeks, you might be able to do this.
But it's still very
not going anywhere.
But it's not going anywhere, right? So then that brings me back around to what Bernard was saying. So now this is the preparation for the system. Then what is the time preparation for the person then while they're there?
So a complete removal and cleaning of the head for the next step of application, if there's no color being done, is about an hour. Okay. From starting the removal all the way to be able to put it on is about an hour to an hour and a half, depending on how much hair, depending on whatever, because...
That's the first time when you put it on?
Always.
Oh, okay.
Always. And if you're working with somebody, we do a lot of what I call interruption therapy for trichotillomania clients. If you're working with a trichotillomania client, they're really just missing hair in one area that they've been pulling from. They may pull all over, and that's not really a candidate for what we do. But they're going to have a lot of hair. And that's a whole nother thing that you have to learn how to come up against and how do you do it.
Yeah, we find a lot of trichotillomania clients tend to pull more from the top, which is great. And if they pull from the sides, they also pull from up here. But the top system will cover that area also very often.
Well, it's interesting because one of my clients, this is really how the radar started. One of my clients moved to New Orleans. I went and did research on all the hair replacement places, and this was the one I picked. And so she's a client here now.
Okay.
And the other thing we do, though, with interruption therapy, because, yes, it usually starts about 9 years old, and usually in this area. But when they have other areas, if they can grow that hair out that long, we put a tape in because they can't get to it.
Right.
So that's the whole,
So one of the things when she was doing the cleanup that was fascinating to me is the amount of Dawn that was used. You ever use Dawn or accidentally run out of laundry detergent and maybe squirt a little Dawn in a washing machine or had a friend do a little too much and then suds come out of the washer? Because Dawn suds up a lot. And so I've always been a little bit afraid of Dawn. We've always used it for prep before hair extensions, but it takes a lot of rinsing. And so when I saw her take a Dawn bottle or a bottle with Dawn, and she massaged with a removal type solution.
She's really helping me. Can you tell?
A removal solution that softens and loosens, and you're massaging it for a long time. And then you put this Dawn, and this is how it went on.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that's a lot of Dawn. I want to see.
He's like, do you know how many bubbles that has?
And then again, a little later, and a little more, and then a little more, and then massages that in, combs out most of the adhesive with a throwaway comb, and then a lice comb, a knit comb. And if you can't get through it with that,
there's nothing left on it too.
That's what her tip and trick was. If you can't get the knit comb through, you keep doing it until there's nothing on it, because you'll see little bits of goo of the adhesive from 4 to 6 weeks of breaking down.
Yep.
You're wiping it off continually with these little cotton pads here. And when she could get it through all the tangles, because the thing she's learned through experience that she's saving us all on is if you don't have anything on the knit comb when you go to shampoo it, it'll all be clean.
Yeah,
too many times we think, oh, we got the comb through, even the fine teeth of the comb, I've got it through.
Right.
Clean. We go shampoo the hair. And a lot of you guys that do tape-in extensions could probably relate here. How do I get all that goo from the tape-in out of the head?
Adhesive?
Yeah. So when you shampoo after tape-in, sometimes there's still something in the hair. And her tips and tricks were using the extra Dawn, doing the fine-tooth comb, and then the knit comb. She washes, however many times she rinses, it's clean this time. You can shampoo and rinse a few times. But if you haven't got it where the knit comb will come through with nothing on it, you're usually going back with this and this.
Yeah.
and a little bit more of this, and then.
So here's where that mistake gets corrected. So if you have not done this step, and you guys, I got to tell you, I'm a hairdresser, right? So I want to get done quick. You can't. You got to slow down. It's going to save you so much time, and time equals money, right? For us.
Right.
So if you follow this step precisely like I show you in the video, you literally will only have to shampoo probably 3 times, twice with Dawn, once with a clarifying at the end. And if you don't do this, your hair might feel clean, like squeaky a little bit when you get out of the bowl and then you go blow dry, and there's still oil left in the hair because you didn't finish and do this properly.
So then here's another question now. I know we put the link to the videos, and I know you referenced the videos, and we're going over the kit that's all part of the education. So then the education videos, okay, fine. It'll take you through the whole process of how to prep and install and take care of the client and maintenance and all that good stuff. What contact information can you share if somebody has additional questions about maybe just pricing or technical support or things like that?
You know what? I didn't even tell you just yet. We talked about it, and RJ's just getting set up for it. But we're going to join her students after the class or invite them to the hair replacement info private group. So it'll be part of a group where, sure, a lot of them are preparing the area with clippers and bonding to the scalp. And so we're going to add long hair bonding to that group. So it'll be some of the people in that group are going to want to take the class and move into that. But they're also going to have questions. And then as we build the community with more long hair bonding clients, she won't have to answer all the questions. They'll answer each other's questions kind of like they do now.
Well, and part of Studio U is coaching.
Yes.
And how do you add it to your business? And how do you set up your studio? And how do you hit it again?
Under the table, my feet kicked the camera. I mean,
oh my God.
Sorry.
So
it wouldn't be a 2 guys chat without the earthquake of Bernard.
Right? Exactly. I'm so happy to be here and feel honored with the 2 guys. They do a little female energy here.
Yeah.
So there's a whole back, let's say, story to doing long hair bonding. You have to create an experience for the client. You have to know how to add it to your business. You have to know how to market it. There's like so many from the business side, which is really good because, believe it or not, as a hairdresser, I have that business part of my brain as well. So yes, we'll answer questions, but if you need help with coaching or things like that, then Studio U does that as well. Speaking of, if you are on here watching, we're going to take your name, we're going to do a drawing, and I'm going to give away 30 minutes of complimentary coaching. And I don't know if we can do that like in a week when people watch it and we get their names and put it in, or today, whatever you guys.
The easiest thing to do would be to set up something in the link where they can send us a message. We'll do like that. We're going to mess up RJ over here. RJ is going to put a link in the description below to be able to contact us. And that's going to give you that drawing to the 30-minute private coaching session with Shanna.
We'll decide sometime today what date we'll give it to, and we'll put that in the description. But we'll just put it later because we don't know right this second.
Right. And I'm just going to give a little nugget that we didn't talk about this, but it's more from the experience side and the business side. In our rooms, and they're private and beautiful. Chandeliers. It's a beautiful, beautiful space, and it needs to be. So we have curtains that we can close over our mirrors because a lot of times a client doesn't want to see themselves without their hair again.
And you might think that, wait a minute, didn't they walk in with their hair? Well, a lot of times they haven't. Sometimes they've walked in with hats, turbans, wigs. They don't want to see themselves with the hair. She calls it their bio hair. I like biological. The bio hair, their biological hair that they don't like.
And they've been looking at themselves with their dream hair. Why they don't want to go back and look at what they felt so bad about.
Or even not the dream hair. At first, they might have come in with an ugly looking wig on.
I mean service.
So even then, they might need the curtain, right, when they first come in? No?
No. So during service,
Okay.
yeah, during service, after they've been wearing their dream hair and they're doing service, we have in the notes, Mary wants curtain closed. So that's another thing. That's like the experience part.
Yeah, that's interesting.
That's
So,
awesome.
so I think something a lot of stylists would really like to hear is her rags to riches story. I mean, Shanna was just an average hairdresser, maybe below average. Who knows? At one point, I mean,
we all financially, because I've never been below. Never in my life at anything I've done.
Didn't we all start at the bottom as hairdressers,
right?
And then some of us get to different sticking points for longer periods of time than others,
which means education.
Yes.
To move up.
And so I don't even know how long you stayed at the parts you didn't like, but I thought you might want to talk about that. Yeah. Let me do this. I love this summary. She went from a single mom, barely making it as a hairdresser, to over $1 million last year. I mean, and that's all within
awesome.
5 years.
Within 5 years, she went from, I think I'm ready to make a change.
Yeah.
I don't know if she knew she'd be making over $1 million in 5.
No. Well, it was a goal. Yeah. I have a base goal and a reach goal. You gotta have those to get there. So what happened was, and there's a 5-minute complimentary video on Teachable on the long hair bonding spot.
And that's a free video you can just go and watch right away. That'll probably be in the description also. You can click on Teachable and watch the promo video.
Yeah.
And it'll be her story also.
Yeah. And there's one in the beginning that's like 1.5 minutes, and then there's a 5-minute one at the bottom. It tells the story. So long story short, it's
a long story. There's no short to this story.
Give me a break. Okay, thank you. So, how much time do we have left? No.
Oh, yeah. Good.
Okay. So,
15 minutes.
Oh, perfect. So, I am also bipolar and had a breakdown about 13 years ago. Like, I was a single mom working paycheck to paycheck, lost almost all of my business. I went from making $1,000. Now, remember, 36 years. We're talking 10, 12 years ago. I was living paycheck to paycheck with my kids. And after the breakdown and after the 2 years of losing almost all of my business and owning a home at that time, I had to rebuild. I had to rebuild myself, right? So that happened. That process happened. It took a few years. And I went to Israel for the first time, and something happened to me there. Yes, I'm Jewish. However, it wasn't that. It was walking the steps that Jesus walked. It was going into the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. I left Israel with my soul like complete, like we all come from there. And I had a belief in God before, but I came back with an undying faith for the signs that are being put in front of me. And how do I follow that? And what does that look like? So I started as a hairdresser in a Sola salon in the smallest suite, doing mainstream hair. I then had a client who'd been a client for 20 years who was wearing an integrated wig system that I had to find. We're talking 20 years ago, that I had to find somebody to make it. I knew nothing about hair replacement, zero. I knew nothing about toppers. I knew nothing about wigs. So I learned this new technique, and it's okay, not my favorite. And I had this young woman come in. Her name is Marcia, and I'll back up. A year before this, she called me. She called me for color and cut. Found me on, I don't know, Facebook, Instagram. So I was like, cool, yeah, made her appointment. It's my mom's name, so I remembered everything. So I remember everybody's story. Don't ask me your name. So we couldn't back up. So she called for color and cut. Great, she has this appointment. She calls me the week before and says, I'm going into the hospital, and I'll call you when I can come back to see you. And I'm like, okay, I hope everything's going to be okay. Now let's fast forward a year. I'm doing this new system, and Marcia calls. And she says, hi, my name is Marcia, but I'm calling to get your friend's information who was doing some type of, kind of the same type of hair replacement. And I said, well, you know what, Marcia? I'm going to a class this weekend to learn. So she's like, well, when can I come in? And I said, on Tuesday. So she came in, we put the system on her. Because of the medication she was on for her rheumatoid arthritis, right? The medication she was taking made her lose her hair more. She was already thinning and already had androgenetic alopecia, which is the way women lose their hair. So we put the system on her. It's great, but I can't keep it on her anymore. So I said, well, you know what? Let's go to the local wig boutique because I think we need to put you in a wig. I had been a hair extension artist for 20 years, so I knew how to cut in things. I knew how to work with alternative hair, but nothing for the top of the head, which is missing. People don't know. They can do extensions.
Right.
You can only do them so high.
Right.
So we go to this wig boutique. I just happened to sit in front of this human hair gorgeous wig, and it happened to be by John Renault. So I wrote everything down. I looked at the price, and because I'm a hairdresser, I come from the world of 50%, right? Or whatever. I didn't know anything about the wig industry and pricing. So I said to my client, oh, I'm sure I can do it for half price, and I'll color it and I'll cut it and it'll be amazing. So there was a woman across the hall at Sola, and by this time I moved into a middle size suite. Okay.
So you were growing.
Oh, I was growing. Yeah. And with this one system. So because the company was telling people when they called to come see me.
Okay.
So moved into the middle. She screwed me over. I hope that's not a cuss word.
That's all right.
Okay. She did not work with me with transparency and integrity. And when I went to go pay her for the wig that she ordered, that she got the wrong color, and she had to overnight the other one because I was going to be counseling Marcia and her husband about intimacy and wearing wigs and kind of what that's like. And so she really did not take care of me well. You know, in our industry, we usually will cut somebody's hair for free if we work in the studio together, or sell it at cost. Or I expected to pay her, $300-400 over the cost.
Right.
It was her education. It was her account, all of that. She almost charged me retail.
Wow.
So one of the things I say when I'm teaching live is the one thing you don't want to do is piss off a Jewish business. You don't want to do it.
I have North Shore. I'm in Chicago, and when Chicago has the North Shore area, those words were never said any truer. Like I can testify to that.
I didn't go to college. I didn't do any of that, but my parents always owned their own businesses. So that's what I learned. So you don't piss off a Jewish businesswoman. The next thing I did was get on the phone with John Renault, and I said, how do I get educated by you? How do I open an account? This is what's happening. And when I talk about God putting things in front of me all the way, she says to me, oh, well, you have to take this class, Core 1 and then Core 2. And we only have like 1 or 2 spots left for this upcoming weekend. And I'm like, okay, where is it? And I'm ready to go.
And then fast forward, that class is you teaching it now.
Yeah.
On Teachable.
This is how, right. And this is how everything started.
Yeah.
So I call them, well, the class was the next weekend in Dallas, which is only 3 hours from where I'm at.
Perfect.
Right? Like it could have been,
Right. It could have been a plane fare.
Exactly. So I go to the class. As you can tell, I have a big personality. It just is. Thank you, God. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here right now, right?
Right.
So I go to this class, really interesting, learned about toppers, learned about wigs, all of that. That's how I got started. So when I came back from that class, I had like 5 toppers in my studio. I had maybe 5 wigs. And now I'm in a triple room. Okay. So I learned how to do long hair bonding October 8th, 2016. Okay. Yeah. They called me after me being in that class and ordering a few things and kind of seeing as a stylist what I was doing. They called me and said, hey, we're going to be inviting 6 master stylists from across the country to come take this class, long hair bonding. You want to come? And I was like, yeah, are you kidding me? October 8th, 2016. I did my first client in my studio, April 6th, 2017, with just me and a receptionist. And it's really interesting. The gentleman who owned the Sola, a really great guy, when I met with him to let me out of my lease to open my studio, which I owned a salon years and years and years ago and swore I would never do it again.
Right.
Right? I would never do it again. I don't want to deal with people like me.
Right.
So that year when I first started, it was just a receptionist and me. And slowly following what God dropped in front of me, I now have a team of 6. I have the most incredible team. And any salon owners out there, the director of my studio, her name's Jenny Rosen, is amazing. And her story as well, everybody who's ended up in my studio on my team, they have a God story how they ended there. And so when I talk about following what's being put in front of me, yeah, the very first toppers and wigs I put in, I did 180. Okay. The year before, as a master stylist, I only made like $70,000. Okay.
Which is not terrible.
No, it's not. It's really not. That's not a hobby hairdresser.
Right.
That's somebody, and that's after taxes. And so that's somebody who's doing what I did, was double booking all day, 10 hours a day, you know, like working my behind off. So that year I did 180 with the first little toppers and wigs. And like Bernard said, last year, my base goal was 1.3 and my reach goal was 1.5. And I reached 1.3. And so let's talk about COVID and growing 28 to 30% every year. This is medically based. I found an attorney. So you hairdressers out there don't want to be shut down again and not be able to work and make an income. This is going to save you. Because what I did is I had people bring in from their dermatologist, their prescriptions, their diagnosis, which is all medical. I sent in pictures of systems that they weren't taken off, the infections that sometimes can happen. I found an attorney. I sent it all to him. I had about a 20-page document because I knew I was going to get visited. I've got a couple of people who, you know, jealous or think it's a regular salon because I don't have anything on my door about hair replacement or solutions. It is a salon. And that's it. You're not coming to get fixed.
That way, when you make an appointment there, your friends don't.
Right. Yeah, you walk in, right. It's a salon.
Right.
No more of going around the back door of old hair replacement. So, 1.3 million. And what
no getting shut down.
That's what I was talking about. And not getting shut down. Right. Like I didn't have to close, and I got visited, and I handed 2 police come on, guys, 2 police officers and like a zoning whatever. It was crazy.
Shut you down.
It was crazy. Well, I let them in, and oh, by the way, my environment at the studio was very calm and, you know, great music and soothing. Well, the time that I was working for 3 weeks on my own, so I could get all the paperwork done for my hairdresser, so they weren't scared. Or they had kids and had to figure out what to do. We listened to disco for those 3 weeks, and I wore my roller skates.
And that was when they came?
Mm-hmm. That was one of the times they came. I skated right?
I have roller skates.
So the clients don't need to be thinking about what's going on out there, right? I'm creating an experience for them. So let them come in and laugh at me and watch me roller skate and listen to disco. So yeah, they walked in, they kind of gave me a look. I'm like, I know what you're here for. Here's my paperwork. They're like, can we look around? Absolutely. There happened to be an African-American woman with them that completely understands alternative hair, because it's okay for African-American to wear alternative hair. I wear alternative hair and I'm sick. So we gotta get rid of that. So it's from fashion to necessity for us as well, right? So she's looking around. They're in my lab. They're looking at these 3D cranial prosthetics. They're looking at these and she is blown away.
She wants to become a client.
She's looking around.
A police officer?
Yeah, yeah. She's looking around. The other guy is standing in a doorway of a client that's about to have service. It's the first service she's having after her initial service. And the guy's reading through it, the police officer, and he says, I've never gone anywhere to any business that was this prepared. And I said, I knew you were coming.
Right.
And he's like, I'm really impressed. And the client turns around and goes, you absolutely should be impressed with her. So literally, this is what God helped me create, and my team create, and my director create, because without any of them, I wouldn't be sitting here right now. My studio's up and running, working, and I'm here.
And solving those kind of problems is what you do through coaching.
Yes. Yes. I love how he just pulls me back around. You kicked it again. Okay.
I'm stretching my legs out under the table.
Well, let me say this way then. All right, so we have the private group that somebody can contact the Profitable Stylist to see if they can get an invite into that group. And those are for people that have been through the training.
Yes.
So for people that are not ready to take the training yet, but still have questions, they can contact the Profitable Stylist directly. Otherwise, Shanna, if they want to contact you directly through Studio U,
yes.
What's the best social media to contact you at?
Studio U Education on Instagram and Facebook.
Okay.
And I can answer, a few questions here and there, and then if you need more, then I provide coaching. Like I'm coaching a young woman right now, before she took the class. Now she's took the class, and now I'm coaching her more. And actually on Studio U, out of the blue, she did a video and sent it to me about her experience with me.
Oh, that's nice.
And then the other thing I think people should go do, because look, there's a bunch of people out here. I'm an educator. I got it for you. Everybody can educate, right? You go to Refined Hair, which is my studio, and I want you to go to my Google reviews. And I want you to go read them. And what is the thread all the way through is that some people are like, I don't know how I got here. God sent me here. There is not one negative review.
Nice.
And if you read them, you'll see what you have to create the success.
So Refined Hair is the studio that they do service in.
Right.
Studio U is her on the road doing education and consulting.
Right.
And we'll put both of those links in the description below also, so you can find
Yeah,
it.
and then also now that you're on the Profitable Stylist Academy, they could probably contact through there. So, I mean, either way, there's a will, there's a way. Somebody's going to get a hold of you.
Right.
I'm surprised we did this in about an hour, because
Did we?
It's 11:07.
Yeah, we stay on target.
About 10 over what we usually do.
And RJ was able to make that raffle entry that you were asking about.
I think we should wrap it up. We did a lot.
Shanna, thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you.
And it's fascinating that every single time the consistent message from a lot of successful people is always the dedication and just staying consistent with having a goal and meeting that goal and achieving their dreams, And it's always great to continually hear that message being pushed across all the time. So thank you very, very much for sharing that with us. That is amazing. Thank you for coming on. Bernard, good to see you, buddy. Everybody watching.
Thank you, for all the technical support.
Yeah.
We can't do it without you.
And I'm sorry we didn't let you get a word in edgewise.
The only thing I was missing today was popcorn. Everybody else, thank you for putting your couple of comments. Hit us up all in the comment section some more. We'll catch you all next week. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.